Yeah, let's see if we can get that full frame in there. Alright, so it had to happen sometime. And that's right, folks, we are going to be talking about MTV. Hopefully that stays in focus there. Alright. Yeah, once upon a time, MTV used to be good. A good show, a good program, a good channel to watch. Nowadays, it's just totally terrible. And what I mean by the good times, when was the good times? I've been around since I think the very start of the channel, like way back in the 80s. I think it was like 83, 85. I don't know. I lost count. It was right around the Billy Idol generation, if I remember correctly. You guys can look up Billy Idol and some of his music. What can I say about MTV and what they've turned into today? Total garbage, straight up. But since you can see over there on the right side, if you were to type in MTV rants, you would see it's been going on for quite a long time. MTV, everybody just fusses about MTV, and it's just something that's I guess is a YouTube tradition. I don't know. Particularly for folks that are my age. If you're getting close to 40 or whatever, then you know exactly almost more than you should know about MTV. You remember back in the 90s when it was okay, when it was kind of sort of okay, but kind of losing its edge daily. Uh, you know, you remember back in the day when they had the music and it was all about the music, and then something changed and they just moved less and less and less about music, less and less and less about art, and more about propaganda. Now, some of the stuff that they did was alright, was kind of cool when I talk about that propaganda nonsense. Because it was okay to be advertising for condoms and trying to encourage people to be responsible. That was fine. That was great. To me that was cool. They were doing AIDS awareness stuff, and again, that's about being responsible. That stuff is cool. That stuff was all right, and that was way back in the fucking 1990s when it was still okay to watch them. You know what I mean? Back in the day when they still had like Aeon Flux or Beavis and Butthead, or back in the day when they still had MTV Rock Jocks, I think. You know what I mean? It was, or MTV's The Grind. It was still okay to watch MTV back then. But and what else? They were even getting into indie film, if I remember correctly. They were messing around with Dead at 21 or whatever. They had Kevin Smith do a couple of commercials for them, or what's it called? Bumpers. Yeah, they call them MTV bumpers. They had just a little 1 minute, 2 minute little show, and it was just a quick little whatever, and it's basically advertising or trying to hook you into watching more MTV. You know what I mean? It was just one of those little uh, silly little skits or whatever, I guess is the best term for it. Sometimes they would talk about modern day politics, sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes it would just be something nonsensical. Anyway, whatever the case is, they went from propaganda that would encourage folks to be responsible. They moved further and further away from that and closer to just straight up brainwashing and bullshit, really. The real world, once that started and kicked off, yeah, that's when things really started going downhill. They started shoving back the music to the late hours, like 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And, almost nobody watched them. I mean, straight up, if you went to school and you went to the lunchroom table or whatever, and you asked people, hey, is any, what's been happening on MTV? Did they actually, have they put the music back on? Is it okay to watch them? No, they're still doing that reality TV crap. I was like, oh, okay, well, thank you. That was, that was pretty much it. It was almost like checking up on a buddy that's missing. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it used to be. And it was right around the time that you started noticing that they were trying to pimp and push some stuff that none of us were really kind of down for. If you understand my meaning, like the stuff that yeah, the reality TV bullshit, and it's all fake. Like I don't know why people wasted time to put expose shows on them showing that reality TV's actually fake. Like fucking 10 years later, it's like, yeah, we already know. That's why we stopped watching back in the day. For whatever reason, uh, it never went away. That reality TV crap just never went the freak away. And you know it has something to do with politics because they moved further and further away from encouraging folks to be responsible, and they were trying to push and pimp more of the shock and awe type of stuff. You know what I mean? Uh, and it wasn't a shock and awe type of art that was really in the vein of celebrating youth or whatever. It was more along the lines of we're going to shock you and awe you just for clicks, just for bait, just to say, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? You know what I mean? Uh, it's hard to pinpoint the exact year when they started messing around with it because the whole time it just felt like you were watching two offices go to war with each other uh, behind the scenes. That's what it felt like you were watching. You know how I mentioned in video games how it feels like you're playing with one office and you're playing against another when you're playing a game. You know what I mean? It's the same thing that happened with. It's the same feeling that you get whenever you were watching MTV back in the middle '90s. That's why we quit watching it. We're like, no, get your shit in order, get your house in order, and then put the music back on. Then we'll start watching it again. Upcon 10, 20 years later, this is what they're into now. They're into dictating to you what they want. Straight up, they're going to tell you what you should want. This is over here on to the left. It says here Trump Daily News. And it says here MTV suggests New Year's resolution for white guys. And if you watch the video, it's a chuckle at first, but then it really starts getting absurd when they start talking about what was it? I think they were talking. I think they were trying to make fun of Blue Lives Matter in the movement for people supporting their own cops. You know what I mean? And they were trying to. They made mention of, I don't know, were people born blue? Very, very, very ridiculously stupid. Like nobody would find that funny at all. Like I'm sure if they filmed this in an over the top comedy, like maybe a National Lampoon movie, maybe maybe would chuckle or laugh, But I mean, it would have to be under, you'd have to actually have a really good writer and a really good director, and you'd actually have to put together a good show for a younger audience that's going to want to laugh at something. You know what I mean? Or going to make light of a certain subject. But with the current generation, the leftists, whenever they're in charge of something, they've killed comedy. They've killed humor. Like Chris Rock or Jerry Seinfeld or all the other comedians that spoke up, and it was a story in current events. Comedians will not play at college campuses anymore because they kill comedy. So straight up, you can't look at MTV like it's a joke. You straight up have to look at it like it's like what it is for what it is. It's propaganda. And no offense to MTV, I wish they would get their shit in order. I wish they would just play music videos, but they don't. They want to dictate what you can and cannot think. They want to dictate what you can and cannot say. They want to dictate what you can and cannot dress like, act like. And they want to tell you who the hell you should or shouldn't be sleeping with. It's like, oh my God, screw this bullshit. I'm so glad that today's youth really have a chance to see how vile uh, these assholes truly are. Because if they just listen to the way I would talk about MTV back in the fucking '90s, they would think about it like, hey, it's not so bad. Look at it today. Check out YouTube. Thank God we have YouTube. Thank God we have the internet. Listen to the rants. Look how long they go on. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 1 hour here, 1 hour there. Straight up, the top spot right now is at 1 year ago, 30 minutes long. It's disgusting what they've done. And anyway, that's it. That's my 10 minutes on this subject. That's all I'm going to do. I don't need to go on anymore. There's a billion other shows out there that are better at doing rants, but this is my little take on it. It's like straight up. The left, they just don't get it, man. They got to let go of shit. Let the art flow, man. You don't need no propaganda or whatever. Let the folks grow up and evolve on their own. Let the chips fall where they may, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's just me on this nonsense. Oh, one more thing. MTV, how dare you? How dare you? We already got a whole fucking country to fix. How dare you tell us what to want on New Year's resolution? How fucking dare you, man? Anyway, that's just me. This is going to be the Fox Gibson signing out. Good luck to all, particularly on all your projects. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know who's who. You know what to do. Good luck to all. Peace out. I'm out.